I am deploying $500,000, and this is going to be the video I'm going to explain exactly why, how, with what targets, etc. So let's just dive straight into this, because everything is looking quite beautiful, and finally we are seeing some kind of a correction, which actually gives us the opportunity to start entering into our trades. Again, spot, all of my spots still there, swing trades, all of that. Here is going to be about some kind of degen active trades, some interesting setups that I'm going to be putting in $500,000 into. Everything else really stays as it was. Nothing has changed. So just diving straight into this right now, if we're going to look at it technically, then there is a very nice setup for a nice false break and a liquidity grab so that we can actually utilize to our advantage. But most importantly is the news that just happened. So please watch this video from the beginning and until the end fully to understand the context of everything I'm going to say so that you're not confused. As so many people are oftentimes in the comments so confused. So anyway, let's get straight into this. And part of this volume I'm going to be putting in also on BitGet. And BitGet also is just as big as Bybit, tiny bit smaller, but they're also quite reliable. They have very distinct, cool features. And you can also get their BitGet card, which is something that I use on a daily basis for my daily expenses. So I spend crypto, and I use BitGet's card as well for my daily expenses. And there's going to be a link to BitGet down in the description of this video where you can claim up to $6,200 in deposit bonuses in a reward center once you sign up. And you can always create a different account if you already have one, with a different form of identification for your KYC. So let's just jump straight into the news here so that you understand my full spectrum and my entire view towards what is happening in the world right now. First of all, which was incredible news, we had CPI come out, which is an important gauge for inflation. The most important one is PCE, but CPI is also quite important. The forecast was 2.4 and it came in at 2.3. So this means that we are really close to the Fed target rate. The next piece of news, which is absolutely incredible, is that, well, I showed you this in a previous video, US and China has agreed to 90-day tariff reduction. The US cuts on Chinese imports went from 145%, they cut it down to 30%, and actually China dropped it from 125% to 10%. And why this is important in collaboration with this, inflation is going down, tariff worries are going to be out of the way. That's why the traditional markets are pumping a bit, and this gives Powell in June for the rate cut and for possibly finally very nice bullish FOMC meeting and the press conference, all the tools he needs, because previously he said we're not going to be reducing interest rates because it's uncertain what the tariffs will do. Well, right now it seems like Trump has given him everything to finally do what we really want him to do. So next thing, which is also going to be painting a very good picture. So long term, in my opinion, it's a good time. That's why markets are pumping. That's why it's looking all great. So if you guys have been buying crypto together with me at every single stage of the way, congratulations. And for those of you who are always confused, I've never sold any of my crypto. I've never said I'm selling anything unless you just read the title like an idiot. Well, then it's your own fault. If we're taking some short trades, those are just short-term short trades for active trades. That's it. But I've been more bullish on crypto than ever for the last 5 years. So anyway, just to point out the obvious. Now the next piece of, well, not news, but information that you need to understand is this right here. This is M2 money supply, which we're following quite nicely. As I told you before, here we had one last dip. We were supposed to have it, and we actually had it. It was a bit bigger than we anticipated, but nonetheless. And right now we are actually in a zone that we are also anticipating some kind of a tiny dip, and this is before we actually move on higher with possibly the targets of $150,000 per Bitcoin or even more, which, yeah, I don't know if we're going to get that high, but anyway. So here, initially, we're going to have some kind of a tiny correction, which is something that I really want to use for a very nice, great entry point into some trades, which I'm going to show you in just a second. And also another piece of news, which so many of you guys, unfortunately, you're actually in this unfortunate statistic. Just in 2025, individuals, people, retail hamsters, and idiots have sold $250,000 Bitcoin. And who actually bought that Bitcoin? Governments, funds, ETFs, businesses, smart money, and people who understand the future. So please don't make up this statistic. Don't give up your Bitcoin, which is the soundest asset in the world, or any other crypto that you really believe in, because we are literally still at the beginning of this bull run, in my opinion, especially in altcoins. Also, what I wanted to mention, so that you also understand the entire concept and what we are seeing right now, this entire growth in Ethereum, if you look at it, I mean, it kind of looks beautiful, but well, for one, there isn't very much volume yet, so it's really easy to move the price. And the relation between Ethereum and Bitcoin, that's just the move right here. It's so freaking tiny. This could be only the beginning. Certainly, we just want better entry price, a nice structure, formation of a structure for an entry. But overall, it is only the beginning. And it's like it's that small in relation. Also, another piece of things to understand is this right here. This is the dominance of USDT. And this means when it goes up, it means that people are pulling their money out of crypto. When it goes down, they're putting it back into crypto. And the last time we've had it, actually at the end of 2024, this dip and this money USDT going into crypto caused altcoin pumps of 200 to 400%. So right now we are anticipating that this flag actually should finally, we kind of had a weakness of this flag here, but then things changed because of the tariffs and stuff. But now finally I think that we should break this level going downwards with a target of a drop of 53% in total for this move, which could signal the beginning of the old season. And that's, and this, something like this here will look like something very tiny and very small. So this is also something to pay attention to. And now when it comes to setups and targets, in our opinion, also I will tell you exactly why and when I'm expecting this to happen, because a lot of the stuff I'm mentioning in these videos here, I'm not really giving you a full picture because it's going to take me a 60-minute video to describe all the quantitative analysis we are doing, statistical analysis, historic AI analysis using past historic data and cyclical stuff, etc. It's going to be too long, but I'm just giving you the overall overview, and we are not always correct. 50% of the time we are wrong, but it's normal. And for that, we have proper risk and money management. And for that, we are deploying capital, not in just active trading, but also into spot, into passive income, into funding rate arbitrage, into early stage deals and investing in projects before they even come out, and OTC deals and etc. So this is the only way really to, in a stable manner, to become rich in crypto. But now about trades, because trading is also great, but we do it with like 5% of our capital at best. What interests me the most right now in terms of the levels is 98K in Bitcoin, and the worst case scenario for now, short term, where the gap, CME gap is, and what daily fair value gap would be around the area of 92,000. When it comes to Ethereum, what is really interesting is not really the CME gap per se, which is also great, but what interests us the most is daily fair value gap right here at about 2,300, and another daily fair value gap at about 2,000 or so, 2,100. So for this particular reason, I've just set out orders for $500,000 that's what the title reads. So I have orders right now for ETH starting at 2,200, 2270 and 2050. So these are the places where I want to be getting into some active trades on ETH, and my target would be breaking of 3,000 or even above. So kind of not really swing, but more like day trades type of a thing, with an extension possibly into the addition into my existing swing trades that I already have. And then when it comes to Bitcoin, so Bitcoin is also quite similar. First entry interest is 98,000 and then 92,000. So, and that's why all things put together, that's going to be about $500,000 of volume I'm ready to deploy, considering that everything is looking very bullish, pretty freaking amazing, small dip in M2 money supply, and just short term also we have some aspects that can actually drive the price lower, but long term, one of the biggest pieces of the news and the reality I'll show you right now. And that's going to be this right here, D60 for the last almost 6 months. Right now we have an incredible increase in shorts, so asks. Look, and this, whenever there is a huge increase in shorts, these could be shorts from the public. Because if we look at the funding rates right now, especially on Ethereum, this is Ethereum, you will see that funding rates are quite stable, which means that there's a lot of shorts, which means that retail is not in a market yet and is not buying yet as much, and they're shorting more than they're actually longing. And this means that, or this could be also shorts, which are the hedge positions for big institutions and stuff. But in reality, any imbalance like this usually drives the price to the liquidation event, if you know what I mean. So when there is a lot of shorts, regardless of what those are, usually the price really tends to go closer to it to really get a chance to liquidate those longs or shorts. And in this case, after this huge explosive move in Ethereum, we had huge increase in shorts, and this means that there is something to get liquidated. So therefore, which is a big piece of the puzzle, to be honest. Right now, my target is, if you look at Ethereum in general, we've kind of broken above this resistance. We're at this yellow order block level, which is very important. I think the next target is at least 3K. But initially, short-term flush of leverage, possibly again, it might not happen. I don't have a crystal ball. If it keeps going up, great, 95% of my money is not in active trading and it's in my spot portfolios. So therefore, I am expecting time-wise, in terms of our quantitative analysis and just historic AI analysis, etc., is that until the Sunday of this week, which is May 18th, we're expecting this correction to actually happen, and hopefully to get all of these orders that we actually put out for them to get triggered. I'm not saying that maybe we'll not get to the level of this 2000, this level here. We might not go as low, fine. If not, well, great. But if we do, then I will just increase the positions a bit more, as you can see in my orders. But we're expecting the dip to last until about May 18th. If everything's correct. As I said, it might not be correct, but overall this is our expectation. And now finally we are seeing some kind of maybe a beautiful false break of this entire structure just to consolidate, and after May 18th, 19th, 20th to continue to move up. This would be absolutely beautiful and would actually give us a very good risk-to-reward ratio type of a trade, considering all the things that are so positive. Long-term, short-term, some liquidation events might be very useful when it comes to our trading strategy. So stay smart, stay rich, and have a nice weekend. I'll see you next video.